Hats for sale. Hats for sale. So many hats. All right, we're giving them away. Let's go get organized here. That's right. With hundreds of hats on the way, I got a clean house. So I said this 2 or 3 weeks ago. We're getting rid of hats, everybody. Here they are. Probably, and listen, I just gotta move. We gotta move them, okay? So I'm not gonna do it individually. And usually we do this on Instagram or Twitter, but I realize not everybody has social media. So whoever gets the comment of the day today is gonna win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hats. Probably looking at $200 to $250 in running hats right here. I know this one is like $45 from Soar. Anyway, we're talking about Solomon, Fractel, Vega, and Vast. So we're talking about some nice running hats. I just have too many, so we're giving them away. Comment of the day. All right, there you have it. Blue bar is on your screen. So I might as well ask it now. Question of the day. What has been the most exciting, all right, that's a key word, exciting lesson that you have learned from any training block? Oh, if you've been running for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, I know there's people that watch that have been running since the 1970s, and that's 50 years ago. So that's the question of the day. What has been the most exciting lesson you've pulled away from one of your training blocks? Okay, there you go. Blue bar off the screen. Now, good luck. Comment of the day for today. I'm gonna listen. It's going to take me a while to read through all of them. So I look forward to reading those. All right, I have a lot of notes. I'm going to try and stay focused. Let's dive in. Yesterday I mentioned the reason I went to California for the Formidable 50K was to try and qualify for the World Mountain Running Championships. That's why I raced the way that I did. I wasn't going out there to get top 5 or top 10. I was going out there to get, well, frankly, top 2. And so that's why I went out a little hard, admitting that 100%, and lessons learned. You know, that's what yesterday's vlog was all about. But today we're breaking down leading up to that 50K race out on the trails with basically 6,000 feet of vertical gain in California, just so you are aware, in beautiful Auburn, California. Okay, so little recap in case you're new. July to October 2022, I had a sacrum stress fracture. That's a bone in your lower back, okay? And for me, and so I was out for 12 to 13 weeks of like nothing. Like I couldn't, especially those first 6 to 8 weeks, I was on crutches, and then I couldn't even cross-train. Like I tried to get on the bike a little bit, and that was even painful. I could try to swim a little bit. That was even painful. So I didn't do much during those 12 to 13 weeks. Well, October 17th, I ran my first mile on the grass. Okay, October 17th. And then I was running around circles. You guys saw it on Strava, 3 weeks doing circles on grass, okay? And we're gonna break down the volume today, tempo runs, long runs, injuries, and then my analysis. So I'm just giving you a little recap of the comeback from the injury. November 5th was my first run off of the grass. I did 4 miles on dirt, just down the way on Bear Creek. November 30th, I wrote on Strava a wee bit of fitness coming back. So that was about 6 weeks after. And if you really pay attention to my training on Strava, you saw like my heart rate dropping, okay? From 150, I think it was, all the way down to the low 100s, okay? I'm not a heart rate trainer, but I know many are. So you saw it drop over those 6 weeks. And then I said, it was really, I remember, it was the 3rd week of December, right when I'll break down the volume right now. 3, 10, 22, 37, 46, 54, 63, there it is on your screen in miles, okay? So that was my volume for the entire training block. The up the roller coaster, a rest week, I think it was about November 26th or 7th, right around Christmas, and then back up and then back down for the taper. I did 7 tempo runs, okay, ranging from 3 to 10 miles and falling into the 525 to 540 a mile range. 7 tempo runs. Okay, this is key. And well, should I tell this now? Yeah. The first 6 to 8 weeks, I was pretty nervous that the stress fracture maybe wasn't healed. I felt like I had a little bit of that phantom pain, you know, that it's more the mental side where you're like, I think it's healed. The doctor says it's healed, but man, it's just like a little nerve-wracking. So those first 6, I would have loved to do, and we're going to talk more about this in a second, I guess. I'll come back to that. So, tempo runs, long runs, I did 2 40-mile runs, 2 30-mile runs, and then one faster 24-mile run up at Mags at about 8,000 feet. I think it was about 640 a mile, I'll put it on the screen right now, okay? So that was up at Mags. Injuries. Historically, my stress fractures, which I had a lot of stress fractures in college, was when I did speed training. I could run and train and run for, days and days. But as soon as I mixed in speed training, and I think specifically in aggressive spikes, and specifically on harder surfaces like a Mondo track, that's oftentimes when a stress fracture popped up for me historically. So that was lingering in the back of my mind coming back from the sacrum those first 6 to 8 weeks, which is why I was very, very cautious there at the beginning. What else? Okay, we're moving through quickly here. I like it. My analysis of the entire training block. And again, we could talk for probably an hour about this training block, but I'm trying to respect your time. Here we go. It was fun, okay? I'll always say, why run and train if you're not having fun, okay? So it was really fun. I gotta say, doing 40 miles up in Leadville, Colorado at 10,000 feet, my home mountain range, and just pushing myself through some physical ceilings, all right? That's another point I wanted to make. I don't know, I never really expected as a 37-year-old that I'd be able to run for, if you would have told me at 17, I was leaving Buena Vista from high school, and you would have said 20 years from now, you're going to be running 40 miles just up the road in Leadville, Colorado, I would have maybe laughed a little bit at you. So it's like those physical ceilings and pushing through those barriers that happened in this training block. I'm not saying it was the right decision for this specific race, but for me, mentally, physically, it was fun to push through those physical ceilings, okay? I just wanted to mention that. Also did a 10,000 feet of vert training run right up at, Mount Morrison. It was boom, boom. Oh, it was a hard day. 10,000 feet in one run. Basically my biggest vertical gain run ever. I maybe did, with Nolan's 14, I definitely did, what did we even do? I think I did 20K, but that was over the course of not one day. So anyway, moving on, gym. Did I train too hard in the gym? I don't think so. I'm healthy. I forgot to mention, I'm healthy right now after this aggressive training block. And the gym, I think, helped. I'm just going to say it. Based on the research I've done and the coaches I've talked to, it's good to get heavy weight on you to help increase the density of your bones, okay? So now, did I go too hard? I don't know. I will say this, I'm still figuring out the future, but I think I'm going to keep going in the gym. And, I'm not a big fan of getting big and bulky, but I feel stronger and I'm excited about that. So I'm going to keep going, especially, oh my goodness, I didn't really even tell you this. My PHT, proximal hamstring tendinopathy, it lingered in November and early December until I hit this single leg hamstring curl in the gym. I hit that thing like you wouldn't believe. I feel like my hamstrings and my rump are the strongest it's ever been, they've ever been. So, and the PHT is totally gone. So I am very, very grateful for that because that was not a fun injury either. So I'm going to keep going in the gym. Long runs, probably could have kept them to that 20 to 28 mile range. Again, my first 50K in 3 years, and I just had fun running long distances. It was a lot of fun. So, but I would say you don't have to run 30 or 40 miles. It's how I like to train. I love running, so I'm gonna run a lot. And 20 to 28 miles though, would have done the ticket. I'm confident that would have been enough in the long run department, okay? Tempos, as I mentioned, I did 7, would have preferred 10 to 12. Oh, I didn't even mention this. This was an 18-week training block from start to finish, keeping in mind those first 6-8 weeks was am I healthy? Am I, it's like very, not nerve-wracking. It's just like I had to be careful. So I would have preferred like 10 to 12 tempo runs over the course of 18 weeks, but I only got 7 in because of the stress fracture. Just being a little extra cautious. Downhill training. Oh, so key. And this connects to the next point, FKTs. So I keep telling myself this, and I mentioned this to my brother, is that I think I've learned my lesson not to train for an ultra race in the wintertime. You can do it. Oh man, ice. I thought for sure this would be, oh man, this is done for, it's been really nice in Denver. The fact that it's just an ice rink. All right, I got a game plan. I think I'm gonna pivot, head this way. People do it. I know there was racers there in California who live in Colorado, so obviously they did it. And it's just not, I like to run fast in the mountains. It's just what I like to do. It's so fun. I love chasing down FKTs. You all know that, specifically up in the 14ers. That's my cup of tea. That's my mojo. And you obviously can't do that in the wintertime because of the snow and everything else. So if you are doing a faster 50K with, I'm going to say, anything over 3,000 feet of vertical gain, but especially 6,000, and you want to, try and do well, I would just recommend trying to run fast downhill on trails. Okay, that was this is a key point. I pivoted my training I should have pivoted earlier to fast downhill running on dirt roads in early January. I should have sought out some dirt roads somewhere, and they do exist. Obviously, I just never would do it on pavement. And so, because the trails, what was happening, I was waiting in late December, early January, when I knew I was really healthy, that I was waiting for the snow to melt. And it usually does, everybody. And I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but if you live in Denver, usually the snow melts in 3 or 4 days. It never melted. I don't know why. In fact, I saw in the news that they said this is the slowest melt in 30 years, here in the Front Range at least. Not sure about up in the hills, but so I should have pivoted in early January to just seeking out dirt roads that are pretty steep, to get that simulation of the race in California, because there was some steep downhill running in that race, and just hammer the downhills to prepare those quads for the downhill. It's like the Boston Marathon. They always say you gotta be careful those first, 10 miles if I'm not mistaken. It's like rolling, but it's like overall downhill, and a lot of runners get too excited on that downhill, and it just wrecks the quads the first 10 miles. So that was a key lesson, and it connects to the FKTs and my, that's the beauty of Colorado and training here in the summertime, because you can just hammer the uphills and the downhills, up in the high country. Couldn't do it right now. Wow, that's almost it. So that's kind of my analysis. That is my analysis. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. I guess the last point is, was I tired in California? I felt good, but the 140 miles a week is no joke, and I realize it's a lot. And back to the fact that I like to have fun, meaning I like to run a lot, and it's just who I am. It's what I like to do. But there's probably a good chance that my legs were a little tired going into the race. Even though I tapered really well, felt great going, that last 5 to 7 days, and going to California, I felt great. I felt fresh, but who knows? There could have been, there probably was some accumulation of the volume leading into that race. I'm sure I would have been fine with, the 90 to 115 mile range instead of going all the way up to 140. But, yeah, I think that's it. It was a great training block. Again, at the end of the day, I'm healthy and I had fun, and it obviously didn't hit the place goal. Didn't really have a time goal, just the place goal. But we go back to the drawing board, and on that note, I will update you soon. Got to figure out what's next. Got to figure it out. I don't know yet. So having conversations as we speak. Christopher, amazing comment of the day. You don't win the hats, Christopher. This is for tomorrow. But Christopher, that's why I love running. You're always learning. So hit pause if you want to read the entire comment of the day. Great, great comment of the day. Already asked the QD. Thanks for tuning in. Onward and upward. We learn, we keep tinkering, and we figure out the future. Okay? So one training block at a time. Actually, there it is. There it is. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Their Formidable 50K. We'll save that one, even though it didn't turn out the way we quite wanted. All right, everyone. We'll toss it to I don't know, another training block discussion right there. Right there. All right, seek beauty, work hard, and love each other. See you tomorrow.